Would you judge someone based on their color? Well, that's what the Jamestown colonists did to the slaves. The colonists thought just because they were black, they were superior. The Jamestown slaves had to do the colonists' dirty work. The Jamestown slaves had blood rush down their face as they're being beaten. Kids watched their parents cut and bruised. That's a terrible sight to see for a child. The slaves were dehumanized based on how they looked. Slaves put blood, sweat, and tears in the plantations. Jamestown colonists robbing the freedom of the slaves. Slaves being sold like animals to different plantations, being apart from their family. Slaves not able to think on their own, not able to get any education. Slaves being taken forcefully from their homes, having to sleep on the cold hard ground, rocks stabbing their backs. Slaves, they laid in the cold elements, sick and afraid to fight back. You ruined slaves' lives because you didn't want to work on the plantations yourself. Slaves could have rebelled against you, but they were too scared to. Slaves were chased by ferocious dogs. They were hung, beaten. They were hung, beaten, and the African population is still here today. Slaves were treated unfairly because of their color. Slaves had to live with little to no clothes on their backs. You you once treated slaves like they mattered. Then you flipped the switch and treated them poorly. Some slaves didn't even make it to sea Jamestown. They were cramped at the bow of the ship, stayed in the blazing summer and the freezing winter with barely any food. Slaves had to endure a lot of harsh treatment because of their color. Slaves had a positive attitude through all the harsh treatment. Slaves lived a horrible life because of you. Slaves went through harsh treatment and still stayed strong to still stayed strong. What made you change your mind? Was it because you needed people to work on your plantation, or was it because of how they looked?